Okay, this has been an historic week in the market. The market ending up after a wild week, they basically up 330 points. We've seen a week of 6 days straight of volatile swings of 500 points or more. It's still the worst week for the blue chip average and the S&P 500 in just over 2 years. Meantime, President Trump signed off on that wide-ranging spending deal. It's expected to push budget deficits into the $1 trillion a year zone. Let's bring in the former host of the next, he is the host, rather, of the Next Revolution on Fox News Channel, Steve Hilton, and he advised UK Prime Minister David Cameron. It's good to see you.
Hi, Liz. I was going to say, do you know something I don't? I think I'm still hosting this show on Sunday night.
What a way to go into your weekend with that. We're watching the market go boomeranging all over the place. The 10-year boomeranging around. It's wild, Steve, that our borrowing costs on our 10-year is now higher than Italy and France. What do you think is going on here?
Look, to be completely honest with you, I've always been a real skeptic of the financial markets. I think that the people who are involved, too often treat it like gambling, and it's all about the kind of mob mentality, and it's very disconnected from what's going on in the real economy. And I've always thought that that's what we should pay attention to, those real factors that underlie people's real experience, as you were discussing with Kaylee earlier. So I think that actually when you look at not just the job numbers overall, job growth that's happening, but this big switch that seems to be going on from part-time work to full-time work. You're starting to see an increase in wages. Let's see if we get an increase in the productivity of the economy. That's going to be the big thing to watch. Those are the things I think that are really important, not just for the economy generally, but also politically in terms of people's experience.
Now, you're an astute political observer and expert coming from the UK. You saw what Great Britain has gone through, and you're watching what the U.S. is going through. A year ago, Steve, you came on the show. A year ago, it was about the Muslim travel ban, which, of course, was a distortion, and it was incorrect when people reported it that way. When it was Trump coming into office. It was the Democrats up in an uproar saying, oh, he's going to introduce corruption, xenophobia, racism into the U.S. government. That is all crumbling away. I mean, now the Democrats face midterms, and it's not inevitable that they will win the midterms because now they're talking about bipartisan deals on infrastructure. I mean, all of that rhetoric, even if you listen to Nancy Pelosi, it's still there, or Elizabeth Warren. I'm talking in the broad party sense for the entire Democrat Party. It's not a given that Democrats sweep.
I completely agree, and it's a real change in terms of what people were expecting, because I think that there was a great column, I don't know if you read it in the Wall Street Journal yesterday, about the Trump panic. Dan Henninger wrote a column about the Trump panic, and exactly as you say, this idea that everything was going to crumble, it's going to be a complete disaster, he's going to overturn everything about our democracy, and it's just been completely ridiculous argument that they've hung on to. Meanwhile, in the real world, bit by bit, they're putting in place the reforms that America needs, especially to get the economy moving. But even in other areas beyond that, really important things. Just today, we heard some really encouraging news about the administration's plans to reform the civil service, to be able to deal with that entrenched bureaucracy that gets in the way of change. So I think the real world is against the Democrats, and that's going to become even more the case as November approaches.
I think you make a great point. The American people get it. Reforming the civil services to President Trump's term, that would really be draining the swamp, because everybody knows that government unions dominate the federal workforce, and they get sweet pensions and can retire at, with decent salaries. Rather, they get decent salaries, they get decent pensions. Do you see the Democrat resistance to Trump eroding when it comes to the working man and woman out there?
Yeah, I think that the Democrats, very often, they're talking to themselves. There is a hardcore of people who just hate Donald Trump, hate everything about him. Usually it's a matter, I've always said this, I say on the show, of aesthetics. They don't like the way he behaves. They don't like the fact that he eats McDonald's. They don't like the way he looks, rather than objecting to the actual policies, which are helping working people.
Well, he is combative, he is combative, and he has done personal attacks on Twitter, right?
Yeah, but that's part of politics, and the only difference is he's actually very effective at it. And I think you'll see that. Remember, the other thing you're going to see as we move towards the election is that he's going to be even more in campaign mode than he has been up to now. And as he showed in 2016, he's very good at that.